Hello, welcome to You Think. Have you ever stopped to wonder where the phrases we use every day come from? Like when someone says, break a leg before a big moment. So what's it mean? Why do we say that? Today, we're diving into the fascinating origins of everyday phrases, uncovering the stories behind the words we use without even thinking. From ancient history to modern times, these expressions are little time capsules of human experience. Let's explore where they came from and what they tell us about the past. Get ready for a fun journey through language. Let's kick things off with break a leg. You've probably heard this. It's what you say to wish someone good luck, especially actors before a show. It comes from the theatre world in the early 1900s. The legs were the curtains on the sides of the stage. A great performance meant an actor would get so many bows they'd break the line of the legs by stepping into the spotlight. It's also tied to theatre superstition. Saying good luck was bad luck, so actors used this instead. It's been around since 1921, when it showed up in a newspaper about theatre life. Now you might have heard another idea. That break a leg comes from actors falling through trapdoors on stage. Back then, trapdoors were used for dramatic effects, like a ghost appearing in a play. If an actor missed their mark, they could fall and maybe break a leg. It's a dramatic story, but there's no real evidence for it. Historians say trapdoor accidents weren't common enough to inspire a whole phrase, and break a leg doesn't show up in writing until much later. So it's more of a fun myth than the true origin. Next up, bite the bullet. This means to face a tough situation with courage, like tackling a hard task. It comes from the 1800s during the Civil War, when battlefield surgeons operated without anesthesia. Soldiers were given a bullet to bite on to distract them from the pain and keep them from screaming. It's even in old dictionaries from 1811. How about the whole 9 yards? This means going all out, giving everything you've got, like pouring every effort into a project. It likely comes from World War II, when fighter planes had machine gun belts that were 9 yards long. Using the whole 9 yards meant firing all the ammo. It popped up in military slang in the 1940s and spread from there. Here's a darker one. Kick the bucket, which means to die. This goes back to the 15th century in England, where a bucket was placed on the floor beneath a wooden beam in slaughterhouses. Pigs were hung by their hooves on this beam to be slaughtered, kicking as they struggled, hence kick the bucket. It's mentioned in Shakespeare's time. Ever felt under the weather? It means you're feeling sick, and it comes from the 1600s maritime world. Sailors who were ill were sent below deck, away from harsh weather, to recover. It's in old naval logs from the time, like Captain John Smith's writings. Let's talk about spill the beans, which means to reveal a secret, like accidentally telling a surprise. This goes way back to ancient Greece, where they used beans to vote, white for yes, black for no. If someone knocked over the jar, the vote's result was revealed early. It became American slang by the 1900s. Here's a similar one, let the cat out of the bag, another way to say you've revealed a secret. This comes from the 1500s, when dishonest market sellers would put a cat in a bag instead of a piglet, tricking buyers. Letting the cat out revealed the scam. It's in a 1760 magazine from London. Ever said it's raining cats and dogs? That means a heavy downpour, and it comes from 1600s England. Big rains would wash debris through the streets, including dead cats and dogs. Jonathan Swift wrote about it in a 1710 poem describing a storm's messy aftermath. Barking up the wrong tree means you're on the wrong track, like chasing a bad idea. It comes from 1800s American hunting, where dogs would bark at a tree thinking their prey, like a raccoon, was there, but the animal had moved on. It's in a book from 1832 called Westward Ho! Caught red-handed means being caught in the act of doing something wrong, like sneaking a cookie. It's from 15th century Scotland, where poachers caught with blood on their hands from illegal hunting were said to be red-handed. It's in Scottish legal texts from 1432. Burning the midnight oil means working late into the night, like pulling an all-nighter. It comes from the 17th century when people used oil lamps to work after dark. A poet named Francis Quarles used it in 1635 to describe late-night study. A dime a dozen means something's common and not very valuable, like if ideas are a dime a dozen. In the 19th century, goods like eggs or apples were sold for a dime per dozen, meaning they were cheap and plentiful. It's in newspapers from the 1850s. Cold feet means losing confidence or backing out of something, like before a big speech. It comes from the 19th century, possibly from soldiers hesitating in battle or from an Italian phrase meaning fear. Stephen Crane used it in his 1896 novel Maggie. Ever been on cloud nine? That means feeling super happy, like you're floating with joy. It comes from 1950s meteorology, where the US Weather Service classified clouds by number. Cloud 9 was the highest, fluffiest cumulonimbus cloud, symbolizing a lofty, happy state. It got popular in the 1960s on radio and TV. Paint the town red means going out and having a wild, fun time, like a big night out. It comes from an 1837 incident in Missouri, when the Marquis of Waterford and his friends, after a night of drinking, literally painted parts of the town red with paint. It was reported in newspapers like the New York Times in 1883. Beat around the bush means avoiding something directly, like not getting to the point. It's from medieval hunting in the 14th century, where beaters would hit bushes to flush out game, but avoid the dangerous animals directly. It's in a 1440 poem called Generides. Straight from the horse's mouth means getting info from a reliable source, like hearing news directly from someone who knows. It's from early 20th century horse racing, where bettors got tips straight from the horse's owner or trainer. It's in a 1917 British newspaper. Give the cold shoulder means ignoring someone or treating them with disdain, like snubbing a friend. It's from the 1300s, when medieval hosts served a cold shoulder of mutton to unwanted guests as a hint to leave instead of a hot meal. Sir Walter Scott used it in his 1816 novel The Antiquary. Fly off the handle means losing your temper suddenly, like getting really mad out of nowhere. It's from 1800s America, referring to poorly made axes where the head would fly off the handle during use, causing chaos. It's in an 1843 book by Thomas C. Halliburton called The Attaché. In the nick of time means just in time at the last possible moment, like finishing a task right before the deadline. It's from the 1500s, when nick meant a critical moment or notch on a tally stick for timekeeping. It's in a 1580 book by John Lyly called Euphues and His England. Mad as a hatter means being crazy or eccentric, like someone who's a bit wild. It's from the 1800s, when hat makers used mercury to treat felt, leading to mercury poisoning that caused tremors and odd behaviour. Lewis Carroll popularised it with the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland in 1865. Hold your horses means slowing down or being patient, like waiting a moment before acting. It's from the 1800s, when horse-drawn carriages were common. Drivers were told to hold their horses to keep them from starting too soon. It's in the New Orleans Picayune from 1844. Put up your dukes means getting ready to fight, usually with fists, like in a playful challenge. It's from 1850s Cockney slang, where dukes meant fists, from rhyming slang Duke of York's, meaning forks or hands. It's in the London Standard from 1874. Finally, get your goat means to annoy or irritate someone, like when something really bugs you. It's from early 1900s horse racing, where goats were placed in stalls to calm racehorses. Rivals would steal the goat to upset the horse and throw off its performance. It's in the Lima News from 1908. These phrases are like little history lessons, showing us how people lived, thought and spoke centuries ago. They've travelled through time to land in our conversations today, connecting us to the past in a fun way. Next time you use one of these sayings, think about the story behind it. It might make you smile. What other phrases are you curious about? Let's keep exploring the quirks of language together. That's the You Think takeaway. Everyday phrases have incredible origins, and learning them helps us appreciate the history woven into our words. What do you think? What's your favorite phrase we covered today? Thank you for watching. If you valued the time you invested here today, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get more similar content from YOUTHINK.